of you. So we have done the phase list. Phase transfer catalyst that, wait, means quaternary ammonium ions, quaternary ammonium salt, they act as a phase transfer catalyst. Okay, means they can change the phase of the reaction. Change the phase of the reaction. So by this way, by completing this, we have done unit 1, right? So there was a network issue. Is it audible now? Now audible? Okay. I was saying that we had completed unit 1, okay, by completing the last topic, that is amines, quaternary ammonium salt. They are acting as phase transfer catalyst also. So unit 1 is completed now. Have you done the homeworks, all the homeworks of unit 1? All the homeworks are open up to homework 15. All are open. Have you done this? Yes, please. Why, Vikrant? Just complete the homeworks first. Okay. Today I will open the portals for the assignment and quiz surprise test. So within this week, you have to complete all the assessment part of the unit 1. Okay. So by this way, you can revise your unit 1 before your MSTs. Your MSTs are from 11 March. No, no, no. Homeworks are not graded, but for revision, you have to practice the questions that are given after every lecture in the form of homework. Okay, Vidhi? Right? Anything you want to ask from Unit 1? Anyone has revised it? Yes or no? Yes, Aryan. Any doubt? Okay, Vidhi, please revise the Unit 1. Okay, you have to revise before your MSTs and complete your note the nitro point part. Okay. Last topic. Last topic was phase transfer catalyst. Do you want to repeat this, Rohit? Which one? Electrophilic substitution of amines or phase transfer catalyst? Phase transfer. Okay, okay, we'll revise in this lecture. Very good, Aman. Everyone, please revise. Okay, and do your assessment part. So we'll do again the phase transfer catalyst. The phase transfer catalyst is just when the two reactants, the main reaction is that Rx, I'm taking it in this way, taking the example of this very simple reaction in which phase transfer catalyst is used, okay? Then SN2 reaction happen in this case. By SN2 reaction, CN act as a nucleophile and we get NaX. This is our product. Okay, but both the reactants, they will react with each other when they are having the same phase, then when they are present in the same phase. Have you seen the separatory funnel? Have you seen the separatory funnel? Separatory funnel is used to separate the liquid extractions, means it is this will be soluble in organic layer, okay, and it is soluble in aqueous layer, right? So these two reactants are present in different layers. Whatever it is, means it is taken in one beaker, but these layers, these are immiscible, okay? They are not immiscible with each other. So when they are not miscible with each other, then how the ions will transfer from one phase to the another phase? Is that possible to react? Is that possible for these two reactants to react with each other? Yes, Rohit, is that possible? Muskan, the reagents, the mechanisms are also important. See, for MST1 that you are asking for MST1, okay. If you are asking for MST1, MCQ type questions are there. Then, okay, if the question is like this, that what the intermediate is formed in this type of reaction, then mechanism is important in organic chemistry, always important. Okay, you can't skip. Yes, Rohit. So see, in this case, okay, very good. Means no reaction is possible. There is no interchange of ions from one phase to another phase is possible. Okay, it means they are not reacting with each other. If they are not miscible, then how they can react and how the product is formed? Means cyanide here acting as a nucleophile. So cyanide have to cross this phase, okay, this layer to attack on the alkyl group, then it will leave. Then how cyanide will cross this, right? So if we add the phase transfer catalyst in this, phase transfer catalyst is like R4N positive X. It is represented as QX negative. This is phase transfer catalyst. So when the phase transfer catalyst is added to the reaction, then what happen in the reaction? Suppose this is a beaker, okay, and these are the two layers. In one layer Rx is present. This is the layer of Rx. In this layer NaCN is present, right? So we add this Q positive X negative. This is the phase transfer catalyst that we added in this reaction. Okay, then what happened? See, when this QX is added, means quaternary ammonium salt. QX is quaternary ammonium salt. When this QX is added, then there is a capacity of the QX. QX here, here. There is a capacity of this compound to that it is miscible with either with this in aqueous layer or in, this is the aqueous layer and this one is the organic layer. So it is miscible, it can cross the phase, right? And when it can cross the phase, then it will react in this phase. In this phase, aqueous phase, it will react with NaCN and there is a formation of product like QCN, okay, plus NaBr, right? Now this QCN will intercross the phase. It will intercross the phase. No, RX aqueous में नहीं था. RX is in the organic layer, like in benzene, hexane, in this layer. NaCN being more ionic, it is in aqueous layer. The lower alkyl halides, they are soluble in or aqueous layer, but if we take the example of some higher alkyl halides, then they are in organic layer due to bigger size of the alkyl group. Okay, and it will be cross the phase in this side, then in this layer this will act with Rx and the product is formed RCN plus QX. So QX again generated here, again generated this catalyst. It is again generated and it will again cross the phase and act with another molecule, next molecule. This will act with next molecule. Yes, tell me. Now, are you getting this point? So it is, see, it is involved in the reaction, but remains unchanged after the reaction. Remains unchanged. after the reaction. That's why it is known as catalyst. And it helps in the phase transferring. That's why it is known as phase transfer catalyst. Yes, clear? Now any doubt to anyone? Okay. Right? So can we start the next unit? Yes? Okay. So unit 2. See first what is the syllabus of unit 2. Wait, I'm sharing the PPT. The network is not good. I'm unable to share the PPT. So I'm writing here what is the syllabus. Unit second. In unit second, there are 2 chapters. Okay, now. Wait, I'm sharing. See, is it shared? PPT? PPT is shared? Is it visible? Yes? Okay. So see the syllabus of unit 2 is the course outcome from unit 2. It will be, you will understand the heterocyclic compounds and separation techniques in organic chemistry such as chromatography and solvent extraction. And see, this is the syllabus. Heterocyclic compounds, it is the first chapter. Okay, this is the chapter 2. Okay. In heterocyclic compounds, 2 type of heterocyclic compounds are there. One is 5-membered, 6-membered heterocyclic compounds, and the synthesis of these all heterocyclic compounds. Synthesis means with one heteroatom, okay, 3 5-membered heterocyclic compounds are there. One is purane, pyrrole, thiophene, okay, and then with 6-membered pyridine, then fused, in case of fused, indole, quinoline, isoquinoline is there, and their synthesis. Only synthesis part is there. Okay, synthesis of these all heterocyclic compounds. So some naming reactions are there in synthesis, that is Paul-Knorr synthesis, Knorr-Pyrrole synthesis, and Hunt synthesis, and in thiophene Hunt synthesis, in indole Fischer-Indole synthesis, and Madelung synthesis. In case of quinoline and isoquinoline, Kopp, Frindler, and these Knorr-quinoline synthesis, Dobner-Muller synthesis, Bichler-Naparsky reaction, Pictet-Spenger reaction, Pomerance-Fritz reaction. So these naming reactions are there in the synthesis of these heterocyclic compounds, right? And after that, the second chapter, it contains the separation techniques. It is very important chapter. All the chapters are either important, but the separation techniques in the organic chemistry. So it is very interesting and important topic in which we use the different techniques by which we can separate one of the organic compound from the mixture. Okay, the techniques that are used in this: chromatography. So first, introduction of chromatography is there, and types of chromatography. So there are different types of chromatography. One is TLC, thin layer chromatography, okay, column chromatography, and HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. Then GC, this is gas chromatography, and there is introduction of these all types of chromatographies. Okay, and some other advanced techniques are also there in case of chromatography. But in your syllabus, these four techniques are there: thin layer, column, HPLC, and GC, that is gas chromatography, and their uses, where these chromatography techniques are used. Okay, and after that, by another way, there is a solvent extraction by which we can separate the organic compounds. Okay, in which the different techniques are there: extraction of organic compound from aqueous. See, liquid extraction is there, solid liquid extraction is there. Okay, and if we change the medium of extraction, if we change the solvent medium of the extraction, in solvent medium of extraction, means aqueous media is there if we do the extraction by using aqueous solvents, and if we do the extraction by using non-aqueous solvent, then there is also non-aqueous media. So in this case, we will discuss about the supercritical fluids in non-aqueous media. Okay, and in solvent extraction, we'll do the acid-base extraction, and we'll do the examples, that is extracting sugar from oil. These type of examples we will discuss in this. Okay, so I thought this solvent extraction you did in the last semester, the solvent extraction by a separatory funnel. What type of extraction it was? You did the practical in last sem. By using separatory funnel, acid-base extraction is there, benzoic acid, naphthalene. You separated benzoic acid, naphthalene, and phenol from the mixture of these three. Yes. So benzoic acid by adding NaOH to it. Oh, sorry, sodium carbonate, bicarbonate to it, and phenol by using NaOH because it is weak acid. And the other compound is third compound. What was the third compound that you extracted? Naphthalene, right now? Naphthalene है ना? Naphthalene you extracted from the aqueous layer. Okay, these three layers were there in the same form. Three layers were there. So if three layers, these are of one layer, two layer, three layer. One is NaOH layer, sodium bicarbonate layer, aqueous layer. Okay, then these three layers are the liquid layers na? These are the liquid layers, yes or no? Is there any solid in this? Is NaOH is solid? Is water is solid? No. Okay, so these are the liquid layers. So this type of technique, it is known as liquid extraction, means extracting a particular organic compound, okay, that is liquid, from the mixture of the organic compound, that is also liquid. Mixture is also liquid, and extracting compound, that extraction is also in liquid state. So these type of extractions are known as liquid extractions. So same, in the same way, solid liquid extractions are there. So we'll do these type of extractions, and after that, okay, this is the unit 2, right? So starting with the heterocyclic compounds. See, what are heterocyclic compounds? Heterocyclic compound is, that is also called heterocycle. It is a major class of organic chemical compound that is characterized by some or all of the atoms in their molecule are joined in rings containing at least one atom of any element other than carbon. See, in case if we deal with the heterocyclic compounds, first thing, cyclic means the compound should be in ring, or it is cyclic in nature. That's why it is also known as heterocycles, right? So, and the second word is hetero. Hetero means the heteroatoms. Heteroatoms. So heteroatoms are, we consider the heteroatom other than carbon. Heteroatoms are other than carbon atoms. Okay, but see, in case, see, the word hetero means, what is the word hetero means? Yes, what the word hetero means? Hetero, homo, what the word means? Different, not symmetrical. Okay, that is different, right? So if we take this ring, cyclopropane, okay, all the corners that occupy which atom? Carbon atom. So these three atoms are same, they are carbon. But if we replace one of the atom with any other atom like nitrogen, okay, then the ring is like nitrogen is there and this one ring. So this nitrogen, it is different from the other two carbons. Okay, it is different from the other two carbons. So it means that if some different atom is present instead of carbon, then in a cyclic ring, then these are known as heterocycles, right? Okay, so very simple thing is that the cyclic compound that contains one or more kinds of atoms in addition to carbon are called heterocyclic compounds. Okay, or simply heterocycles. So the heteroatoms, commonly what are the heteroatoms? Common heteroatoms are oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. These are the common heteroatoms. What are they? Oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. These three are the common heterocyclic heteroatoms. But instead of these three, some occasionally we can say occasionally phosphorus, boron, arsenic, silicon, and some metals like tin, selenium, aluminium, these type of atoms may be present. So these are also known as heteroatoms. But we will study about the common heteroatoms, that is oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. What are the properties of these? And if it is replaced, if these heteroatoms are replaced or are present in the in present instead of carbon, then what is the change in the carbon ring, and what is the name of that thing? Okay, so why we study the heteroatoms? Why we study the heterocyclic compounds? If we take, yes, Muskan, right, very good. Suppose one thing is there. Uh, I'm taking, no, no, not only nomenclature, nomenclature plus synthesis. Synthesis is there. Synthesis of heterocyclic compounds. Okay. See, if I'm taking two reactants, okay, one is A and B. I'm taking these two reactants and some compound C is formed by these reactants. Then this compound is formed, right? Whatever the compound is, whatever the functional group is there. So why anyone studies about this compound? If I'm forming, if any scientist suppose form this any of the compound, like if any scientist form these heterocyclic compounds, if by nature heterocyclic compounds are there, okay, then why there is a need to study? Why we study these compounds? Some artificial, some natural. To find their properties. Very good. Because they are very much, yes, to find the useful properties, so that they can help in our daily life. Yes, very good, very good use in real life. Very nice. So if we study the heterocyclic compounds, so there must be a daily life property of the heterocyclic compound. So what is the daily life use of these compounds? Can anyone tell me? So most of the means vast variety of the heterocyclic compounds, they are present in nature. Okay, so these compounds play a vital role in our life, and like they are present in what type of compounds? Carbohydrates. Okay, which act as a biofuels. Okay, as oxygen heterocycles like pyranose structure of glucose, furanose forms, okay, and in case of heme group it is there. Heme group is like this one, na? In case of this group, so it is very important in chlorophyll, or give some examples please. So if they are present in chlorophyll, if they are present in as heme in hemoglobin, very good, used in treating cancer. Okay. So in penicillin, heterocyclic compounds are there. Yes, in various medical fields, in penicillin, heterocyclic compounds are there, and in vitamin B, which heterocyclic compound is there? Heteroatoms. What are the heteroatoms that are present in vitamin B? Yes. sulfur and nitrogen. Thiamine is there, okay, in vitamin B. So if, see, very first thing, if it is present in heme, that is in hemoglobin, that's why our blood is red. Okay, if it is present in chlorophyll, because of it, the plants are green. Means these are very important compounds for human life, for animals, for plants. Okay, so these play a very important part in our lives. Yes or no? So there is a need to study these compounds. Right. So any other atom, if present, that is non-carbon, okay, then they are considered as heteroatom. In a ring, if it is present in a ring, then it will be known as heterocyclic compound. Okay. So we will discuss only these three heterocyclic compounds: oxygen, sulfur, and nitrogen. Commonly, these are present. Okay. So see, these are some examples of heterocyclic compounds. Okay, instead of carbon, if one is replaced by, here is sulfur. Okay, these are the heterocyclic compounds that are replaced by sulfur only. See, in this case, which heteroatom is used? Tell me, in this case, which heteroatom is used? Sulfur. Only sulfur? Yes, Harkomal, there is only sulfur that is used as a heteroatom. Okay. Yes, OH is a functional group. Here OH is, this is acting as a alcoholic group. Yes, na? It is acting as an alcoholic group. So in a ring, if carbon is replaced by any other non-carbon atom, that is the heteroatom, and this compound will be known as heterocyclic compound. Okay. Now, talking about the classification of heteros. See what next. These are the properties. Okay. Heterocyclic compounds, they include many biochemical material essential to life, like nucleic acid, chemical substances that can, carry the genetic information controlling inheritance, and consist of long chains of heterocyclic units that held together by the types of materials. And many natural occurring pigments like vitamins, antibiotics. Okay, vitamin, I'm just giving the example of vitamin B, antibiotic like penicillins. Okay, these are the heterocyclic compounds, or they are very much important. Okay, so our modern society that is dependent on the synthetic heterocyclics, uses drugs, pesticides, dyes, plastics, etc. Okay, so general aspect of heterocyclic compounds. So most of the heterocyclics, they are 5-6 membered rings and containing heteroatoms of nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. Okay, so we have two categories here. One is 5-membered ring. Okay, second one is 6-membered ring. Right, two categories are here. So the best known example of heterocyclic compounds are pyridine, pyrrole, furane, and thiophene. The molecule of pyridine contains 6 atoms, 5 carbon and 1 nitrogen. This is the pyridine molecule. We'll discuss in type wise. Okay, pyrrole, furane, and thiophene, these are the 5-membered rings, like this way. Okay, so one of the classification is in this way, right? See, one of the classification is 5-membered, 6-membered, means in number of we can say number of, or not number of, size of ring. First thing is size of ring, one classification. Second one classification is on that it is of what nature, aromatic or non-aromatic. Okay, give me example of aromatic compound. Any aromatic compound, simple. Without hetero, benzene, very good. So benzene is a aromatic compound. Here 6 carbons are there, toluene also a aromatic. If one of the carbon is replaced by any other heteroatom and aromaticity remains as it is, so it is aromatic heterocyclic compound. If any, like cyclopropane, it is not aromatic. If one of the carbon atom is replaced by any other heterocyclic compound, then it will be converted to non-aromatic heterocyclic compound. Okay, these two categories are there. Yes, very good. So this will become pyridine. Yes, Muskan. So these two categories are there. Means on the basis of nature of the ring, that is aromatic or non-aromatic, and on the basis of size of the ring. And third category is that on the basis of, means when benzene ring is fused with, when it is fused with, oh, pen is not working. When it is fused with any hetero ring, like in this way. Here it is fused with any heterocyclic ring when complete benzene ring is there. So these type of heterocyclic compounds are also there, like indole, quinoline, isoquinoline. Okay, and fourth category is there. We'll discuss. Means I'm just giving the intro about these. We'll discuss in detail. Fourth type of classification is based on the number of heteroatoms present in the ring. One, if ring containing one heteroatom, ring containing 2, 3, so that is also categorized on the number of heteroatoms present in the ring. Clear? So this is the introduction about the heterocyclic compounds. So we will start with the classification of the heterocyclic compound in the next session. So if you want to ask something, then you can. And thank you so much.